Okay, so good day no, to everyone. So let's start with the ration of the following questions. No, okay. So for the first question, no, number one. So for the first statement, no, polymerization of the formalin or formaldehyde can occur if it's stored at cold temperatures. Okay, so this first statement, no, this is correct. So tama yung first statement. So polymerization, this is when there is the formation of that white precipitate. So that white precipitate or that white polymer, okay, that forms in your formalin solution. Okay, so that can happen especially at cold temperatures. So we call that as the paraformaldehyde. So that's your paraformaldehyde, no? And it forms during cold temperatures or at cold temperatures. So the second statement, this polymer can be removed by filtration. That's also correct. Okay, so letter C, both statements are true. So yung polymer na yan or yung white polymer na yan, that's your paraformaldehyde. Okay? And it would form as a white precipitate in your formalin solution. So if you want to remove it, you can do filtration. So you can perform filtration or we can also add other reagents. Okay, so that would be for number one, no, letter C. So yung paraformaldehyde, na-encounter din natin yan in other cases, no, since this can also be used as a fixative for electron microscopy. Okay, so for number one, this is letter C. Number two, which of the following fixatives preserves tissues by removal of water? So if it's removal of water, it follows the mechanism of yung non-additive. So pag yung mga non-additive fixatives, they preserve by removing water. And among the choices, no, so this would be alcohols. No? So the best answer here would be letter D, 95% ethanol. Okay. So alcoholic fixatives preserve your tissues or specimens by removing water. Yung other choices like mercury, glutaraldehyde, and formalin all follow the additive mechanism. Okay. So pag additive mechanism, yan yung that happens when the fixative becomes part of the tissue and it stabilizes the tissue proteins. Okay. So for mercury, glutaraldehyde, and formalin, no? But those that remove water, that's ethanol or alcohols. So that's number two, letter D. Okay, letter D. So for number three, so what are the important objectives or goals of fixation? No? So just like we have mentioned, no, fixation is the most crucial step. Most crucial step in tissue processing for histopath, no, since okay, we are after here the preservation of the tissue. So, and kung nagkaroon ng problem, so it's very difficult to remedy. So for the goal or objective, so of course we want to preserve the morphology. So not just the structure, but also the chemical components of the tissue, as well as letter B. So another objective is to harden the tissue. So you would also notice that after fixation, so the tissues would also become harder. So for easy processing. So letter C, that's not included since we don't want to destroy the tissue. We want to preserve it. We want to prevent decomposition to happen. And we want to prevent yung autolysis. So yung best answer natin for number three would be letter D. So both A and B. So for number three, that's letter D. Number four, so most rapid. Okay, what's the most rapid fixative employed for urgent biopsy? So definitely that's letter C, your carnoise. No? So carnoise is considered as the most rapid fixative. So it would take more or less around 1 to 3 hours if you are using carnoise as a fixative. So for urgent biopsies, so we use this fixative. So for urgent biopsies, so for carnoids, no, so it would also be very useful for preserving chromosomes, so mga Nissl granules, and since it also contains alcohol, nakaka-dehydrate din yung carnoids. Okay? So, number 4, this is no letter C. For the other choices, no, yung orts, ginagamit natin yung orts for rickettsia, no, for demonstration of rickettsia, for tissue necrosis. No. Fleming's, that's an osmium tetroxide fixative. And then, of course, our routine fixative would be 10% formalin. Van Gieson stain yan. That's not a fixative. Okay? So for number 4, this is letter C. Number 5, no, which of the following statements is incorrect? So the incorrect statement here in okay, for number 5 would be letter A. So number 5, letter A. So bakit mali yan or incorrect si letter A? So intestines are lined with cuboidal cells processing microvilli. No? So mali to since your intestines would be lined with columnar cells. Okay, so simple columnar epithelium ang lining ng intestine. So of course that would include the ileum, the duodenum, simple columnar epithelium, which is needed for absorption of nutrients. Okay, so it would be columnar, not cuboidal. So aside from that, no, your columnar cells of the intestines would possess microvilli. Okay, so microvilli, non-motile structures yan that are present. Non-motile structures, si microvilli, tinatawag din natin yung brush border. We also call it as the brush border. So which is used for absorption. Okay, so that would be letter A. Number 5, no, letter A. So it should be columnar cells. Yung mga cuboidal cells, we can see that in the kidney tubules or in the thyroid. The other choices are correct. The epidermis is lined with stratified epithelium, stratified squamous na keratinizing. The bladder is, that's also correct, balloon-shaped epithelial cells since these are transitional epithelium. And stereocilia is present in your epididymis. Okay, so for number 5, this is no, letter A. Number 6, no? So what is the thickness of the tissue cassette? So you have to take note that for the tissue cassette, that's where we place the tissue for fixation and processing. It should fit the usual thickness of the tissue, which is around 5 millimeters. So ang thickness of the cassette, yung paglalagyan, should be letter B, 5 millimeters. So since ang usual thickness ng ating specimen for processing is 3 to 5 millimeters, so that can be easily placed inside the cassette na merong 5 millimeter thickness. Okay. Number 6, letter B. So number 7, so what is this slow-acting alcohol for plant and animal microtechniques? So although this is not commonly used or routinely used, but this particular dehydrating agent is useful for this. No? And this is your butanol. Number 7, letter D, that's butanol. So for plant and animal microtechniques, we can use your butanol. Yun nga lang medyo mabagal. Okay? Isopropanol, that's the substitute. That is an excellent substitute for ethanol for dehydration. Methanol, that's primarily for blood smears. Okay. Acetone, so this is a rapid dehydrating agent, but it is not recommended since it usually promotes distortion sa tissues. So another function din ng acetone is fixative din yan for brain specimens. Okay? So for number 7, this is letter D. For number 8, So washing out of excess mercury fixatives can be done using, so whenever you see the word washing out, so we are pertaining to the removal of the precipitates, saka fixative. So after the fixation process, we can remove the excess fixatives by washing out. This would also remove the precipitates that can form. So that can interfere with staining. So if we want to remove excess mercury, so if we want to remove your excess mercury, so that's the process of desenkerization. So desenkerization. And in desenkerization, we use iodine. So that's letter A. So iodine to remove those black precipitates. So black precipitates tayo sa the mercury. So number 8, this is letter A. Number 9, no, paraffin embedded sections, no, are cut at 4 to 6 micrometers. So for number 9, this is letter A. Okay, 4 to 6 micrometers. No? So for paraffin sections, so that's usually cut or section using the rotary microtome. So that is 4 to 6 micrometers. Okay, number 9, that's letter A. Yung 10 to 15, that's for the celoidine. Mas makapal ang celoidine sections. 2 micrometers naman, this can be very useful for renal biopsies. So medyo manipis for the renal biopsy since you are using here an ultra thin microtome and the tissues are embedded in plastic. Kaya mas manipis si renal biopsy. But for paraffin, that is cut at 4 to 6 micrometers. So number 9, that's letter A. Number 10, so what is the widely used autopsy technique? So the commonly used technique. So wherein in this technique, no, that the organs are removed one by one. Okay, so the organs are removed one by one, and this is the technique of letter A, no, virtual. Okay, so if the organs are removed one by one. Okay, so that would be the autopsy technique, the widely used technique. So for the other choices, no, si Rokitansky, so ang keyword naman natin for Rokitansky, that's the in situ technique, no, or the on-site dissection. You have Letul, okay, the organs naman during autopsy are removed en masse. So yung yung letul technique, no, en mass removal yan, no. So it's very good for preserving the connections between the organs and the organ systems, yung letul. Yung gone naman, you remove the organ by en bloc or organ block removal. Okay. So but the widely used removal one by one, that's letter A, Virchow. So for number 10, letter A. Number 11, so enzymes present in tissue are best demonstrated using frozen section. So definitely, so ang best specimens natin if you are demonstrating enzymes, no, especially for enzyme histochem. Okay, so for enzyme histochemistry is your frozen sections. So since yung enzymes are heat labile, so they're destroyed by high temperatures, no? So you have to make sure na hindi naiinitan siya or napaprocess using other chemicals. So the best answer there would be letter B, frozen sections. So for number 11. For number 12, so which is used as a routine decalcifying agent. So routine, so yung ating commonly used decalcifying agent. And in routine decalcification process, no, we use primarily mga acids. Mga diluted concentrations of acids are used to remove the calcium from bone, teeth, and other calcified tissues. So we use here your nitric acid. Okay? It's number 12, letter A. No? So nitric acid, mga around 10% nitric acid is used as our decalcifying agent. Okay? Ang decalcification, of course, so this is done, no? Decal is done or decalcification is done after fixation. Okay? So this is performed or done after fixation, no? So we perform this usually at room temperature, no? So, and commonly used is your 10% nitric acid. So it's nitric acid is also a rapid decalcifying agent din yan. Okay? So number 12, letter A. Now for the other choices, no, yung formic acid naman, formic acid yan ang considered the best decalcifying agent yan. So medyo moderate acting, medyo mabagal, but that's the best. Acid alcohol, that's not a decalcifying agent. Decolorizer yan. And electrolytic solutions, okay, so that's for electrophoresis. We don't usually use that for decalcification. Okay, so for number 12, that's letter A. Okay, number 13, no? So what would be the fixative of choice for surgical specimens or our routine fixative for biopsy sample? So definitely that is letter A, 10%, okay, 10% formalin. 10% formalin. So preferably yung buffered formalin ang maganda. Okay, Zenkers, that's a mercury fixative. No, Buwins, that's a picric acid fixative. So number 13, this is letter A. Number 14, so what is the fixative of choice for PAPS? For pap smear, for exfoliative cytology? Okay, so definitely, so in routine specimens, that is letter B, no? 95% ethanol. Okay? So in the past, ginagamit yung yung ating Papa Nicolaus fixative. So in the past, we use yung Papa Nicolaus fixative, which is a combination of ethanol and ether. But it's a bit dangerous. Although maganda siya, it's a very good fixative. Yung ethanol ether, or the Papa Nicolaus fixative, hindi na yan masyado ginagamit. So that's why nowadays we use letter B, 95% ethanol. Okay, number 15. So what would be an alternative fixative for PAPs? If the common fixative is absent, which is your ethanol, so we can use your hairspray or yung mga spray fixatives. So this is the alternative fixative for your fixatives for PAPs, no? Your hairspray. So if you are applying the fixative, the spray fixative to the slide onto the slide, yung distance yan is around 10 to 12 inches or 1 foot. So if you're applying the spray fixative, so you apply it at a distance of 1 foot or 10 to 12 inches. So for the hairspray. So number 15, this is letter A. Okay, number 16, so a pap smear revealed flat polyhedral cells with the pycnotic nucleus. This is consistent with, no? So you have a large flat polyhedral cell with a pycnotic nucleus. So pag pycnotic, dark, okay, dark and shrunken. Okay, dark and shrunken yung nucleus, no? So this is very consistent with your mature cells ng PAPs, which is found on the top layer of the epithelium and affected by the hormone estrogen. So that is your superficial cells. So number 16, letter A. Okay. So these are the mature cells found on the top layer, and they are under the influence of the hormone estrogen. So that's letter A. Number 17, so retention policy natin regarding tissue blocks. So it should be stored for 10 years. Okay. Number 17, letter C. Usually, ang indefinitely, these are the slides. But 10 years ang sa tissue block. So number 17, letter C. For number 18, which epithelial tissue lines the kidney tubules? No? So the kidney tubules are responsible for the secretion, reabsorption. Okay. So, and this would be lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. So number 18, letter C. So it would be important for secretion, reabsorption of nutrients, no? Solutes or solvents. So in the kidney. So that's letter C. Number 19, so if your objective is to study organelles, which stain can be employed? So organelles, these are mga subcellular structures. So it's best to use stains, no, that are targeting the cytoplasm, since yung organelle cytoplasmic structures yan. And among the choices, no, the best answer there would be Janus green. So Janus green, which we can use for the organelles, no, this is a supravital dye, especially for the demonstration of mitochondria. Okay. So ang mga supravital dyes, so they would be staining the living components of the cell, and they are after the cytoplasmic structures, such as our organelles. Okay. So for number 19, that's letter B. So yung levodotis, that's for spirochetes. Benzidine, that's for hemoglobin. So for number 19, this is letter B. For number 20, this reagent removes alcohols from processed tissue. So if it's removing the alcohol, that is the process of the alcoholization or clearing. So if you want to remove alcohol or we perform clearing, we use xylene. Okay, number 20, that's letter C. So xylene, that is a clearing agent. So that's able to remove alcohol from your tissue. It's miscible with alcohol. So we use xylene. So xylene is also the routine clearing agent. Okay, so it's also a rapid clearing agent used in routine histopath. Okay, so formalin is for fixation. Si paraffin, ang paraffin for impregnation or infiltration. Nitric acid, that's for decalcification. So for number 20, this is letter C. For number 21, so what monoclonal antibodies are employed for immunohistochem? So of course, the monoclonal antibodies, these are specific antibodies targeting a particular epitope of the antigen. And in immunohistochem, they are labeled yung mga antibodies, either enzymes or fluorescent labels, and they would be belonging to IgG. So letter B. So number 21, letter B. Number 22, which stain is best to demonstrate structures made of peptidoglycan? So whenever we encounter the word peptidoglycan, so that would be made of sugars and peptides. No? And this is the cell wall component of bacteria. So what stain can we use, no, for bacteria? So definitely that's your gram stain. So the gram reaction, whether gram positive or gram negative, is based on the cell wall, the peptidoglycan component of the bacterial cell wall. No? So whether they are gram positive, na merong makapal na peptidoglycan, or a gram negative which has a thin peptidoglycan. So number 22, letter C. Number 23, which medium is used for preparing permanent slides? So among the choices, no, if you want to prepare permanent slides, pwede mo na siyang maitago. You can store it, you can preserve it for a long period of time. And you need their resinous mounting medium, which is here, Canada balsam. So this is a resinous mounting medium. So pag mga resinous mounting medium, that's for long-term storage, for preparing permanent slides. So that's letter C. Number 23, letter C. Number 24, so shell horse leather, so is employed for polishing. So pag polishing, removal of the nick, removal of the burrs. So polishing, no? Remove the burrs, no? So we do stropping, 24 letter D. So stropping, that's polishing, removal of the burrs, no? So that is a toe to heel direction. So 24 letter D. Number 25, so the medtech noticed a burr on his newly honed knife. So kaka-sharpen lang ng knife. What's the next step to be performed? Of course, we want to polish. So pag polishing, that's stropping, you use the horse leather. So for number 25, that's letter D. Number 26, now which specimen is most likely to require decalcification before embedding and cutting? So, of course, yung mga calcified tissues. So, among the choices, which is calcified here, it's letter C. Yung mga may atherosclerosis. So, aside from bone and teeth, blood vessels with atherosclerosis can also be decalcified, as well as tuberculosis lesions. So, number 26, this is letter C. Number 27, which is a stain for carbohydrates. So, this is letter A, pass. So, that is your periodic acid shift. Okay, so the periodic acid shift would be useful for the demonstration of glycogen. So, this would be, ang positive result niyan would be magenta. Okay, so your periodic acid shift. We also use your pass for the glomerular basement membrane. Okay, yung ating pass. No? Number 27, letter A. So benzidine, that's for hemoglobin. Van Gieson, that's a stain for collagen fibers. Hematoxylin, that's our nuclear stain. So 27, letter A. Number 28, so blood-containing tissues such as spleen, subjected to aldehydes. No? So aldehydes, formalin yan. Mga formalin examples and formalin can form abundant brown pigments. So that's number 28, letter C. So that brown pigment that can interfere with staining. Usually this happens kung bloody. Maraming blood yung samples. Since the blood can react with the formic acid in the formalin. So it can form these brown pigments. So that brown pigment, tawag din natin dyan, that's your acid formaldehyde hematine. And we have to remove that, no? So since it can interfere with staining. So number 28, letter C. Number 29, which would produce a black precipitate on tissue. So black pigment, no? So due to the excess mercury, that's letter B. So number 29, letter B. For number 30, so necrosis, no? So pattern of necrosis, you have chalky white appearance. So usually this chalky white appearance of necrotic fat is because of the release of the enzyme lipase. So yung lipase, no, degrades fats, triglycerides, so forming that chalky white pattern. And we encounter this in the pancreas. So number 30, that's letter B. Okay, so the pancreas. Sa brain, usually that's liquefactive. Liquefactive naman sa brain. But chalky white appearance, we encounter that in the pancreas. Number 30, letter B. 31, pap smear revealed honeycomb-looking cells. No? So these honeycomb-looking cells are cells that are usually columnar. Columnar yan. Okay, naka-group or in clusters, and they are your endocervical cells. The endocervical cells. Now, endocervical cells, no, would appear as honeycomb cells in your paps. So this would also indicate satisfactory specimen collection. So in the pap smear, no, the pathologist would also look for the endocervical cells. So for them to know na, okay, na satisfactory or acceptable yung specimen for paps. So it would also tell us that the T zone or yung transformation zone na reach during the collection process. So that's another importance of the endocervical cells. Okay. Yung other choices, no, endometrial sa menstruating women yan. Para basal cells, yan yung ating fried egg looking. Navicular, boat shape. Daughter line, yan yung ating normal flora or normal bacteria in the vagina. Okay, so for 31, this is letter B. For number 32, so GFAP. So GFAP, that is your glial fibrillary acidic protein. And this is a marker. Okay, this is a marker, no? A marker very specific for glial cells, no? Particularly your astrocytes. So this is a very important marker for the presence of astrocytes. So mga supporting cells yan of the brain. So in the central nervous system. And their glial cells are very abundant yan sa brain. And they play an important role in maintaining the blood-brain barrier. So we can use the GFAP as a marker, no, in cases of tumors involving astrocytes. So ang tawag natin sa tumors involving the astrocytes, so that is your astrocytoma. Okay, so we can use this marker, no, to assess astrocytomas. So this is number 32, no, letter A. Number 33, which embedding medium produces a rubbery tissue block? So a rubbery tissue block, this is typical of your celoidine or also known as collodion, letter B. So celoidine is very useful for hard tissues that tend to collapse. So that includes yung mga bone, brain, teeth. Celoidine is very recommended for that. So yung celoidine din, yan din yung infiltrating medium na hindi iniinit. We don't heat that, but we dissolve that. And matagal siya i-process. No? It takes more than 1 day for celoidine processing, unlike paraffin. And of course, it produces that rubbery tissue block. So number 33, that's letter B, celoidine or your collodion. So for 34, what is this method of tissue examination that uses your applicator stick and you apply the specimen in a direct or zigzag manner? So that is streaking. So 34, letter C, no, that's streaking. Okay, number 35, dioxane. So dioxane, we use that as a reagent for dehydration and clearing. So we consider dioxane as a universal solvent. Universal solvent yan, no? So it is able to dehydrate and clear at the same time, no? So minimal yung distortion dyan. Yun nga lang medyo delikado. So medyo toxic. You have to use it in a well-ventilated room. And meron tayong dalawang techniques for the dioxane, yung Gropner's and Weisberger's. So if you recall, no, yan yung may Gropner's, okay, Gropner's and Weisberger's. So number 35, let's letter B. 36, which statement is true? So this is letter C. In H&E, the nucleus would stain blue and the cytoplasm pink. Now, since hematoxylin is a nuclear stain that stains the nucleus blue, eosine stains the cytoplasm, which appears pink. So Harris hematoxin, yung letter D, that's a regressive stain. Usually sa regressive yan, okay, and not for progressive. 36, letter C. 37, which is the favored chromogen for enzyme-labeled immunohistochem. So yung pinaka-favorite, usually this is combined together with horseradish peroxidase. So that is letter B, DAB. So DAB, that is your diamino benzidine. So diamino benzidine, color brown yan. So that's our most favored color developer. For number 38, siloidine sections are usually cut. So these are usually cut at 10 to 15 degrees, 10 to 15 micrometers thick. 38, letter B. So number 38, letter B. Number 39, what is the predominant cell present? Okay, so in this specimen, so it says here lymphocytes are the predominant specimen. So among the choices, no, which would have abundant lymphocytes? So it would be your CSF. So sa sputum yan yung may alveolar macrophage. CSF, you would find there the presence of lymphocytes. Number 39, letter D. Number 40, now what would be employed for the study of spermatogenesis? What type of hematoxinin? You have your copper. So yung copper dito, ang function yan more than. And this would be, copper hematoxinin would be recommended for spermatogenesis. So for number 40, no, letter B. No? Alum hematoxinin, that's the routine. Commonly used yung alum hematoxinin. And that includes your Harris. Under the alum, nandyan si Harris hematoxinin. So iron hematoxinin is also useful, no? So for other processes. So for number 40, this is letter B. Number 41, no? So budding yeast cells. So budding yeast cells are typical of, so pag nagbabud, no, parang nagpo-form din ng pseudohypha, no? So you see this in your pap smear. So usually this would be involving moniliasis or candidiasis, which we see among diabetics, immunocompromised patients, no? And this is caused by or associated with Candida albicans. 41, letter D. So si Candida, yan din yung nagpa-positive sa germ tube. No? Yan din yung germ tube positive. So we usually see this, no, in the pap smear as budding cells. Si gonorrhea, no, diplococci yan, cocci in pairs. Si herpes, multinucleated cells naman yan. Gardnerella, you look for the clue cells. Okay. So for number 41, this is letter D. For number 42, which of the following honing stone? No? So honing stone, yan yung pang sharpen, gives the best result. So that is Belgium yellow. Okay. Belgium yellow or Belgian yellow gives the best result. Arkansas, yan yung may polishing effect. Fine carborundum, no, for badly nicked knives. Yung ating fine carborundum. But the one that gives the best result is Belgium yellow or Belgian yellow. 42, letter B. Okay, number 43, no, the refractive index of the mounting medium is rated at, no? So for a good mounting medium, yung clarity niya, yung linaw niya or refractive index dapat malapit sa glass para masabing maganda siya. And the value of the refractive index of glass is around 1.518. So for you to say that the mounting medium is a good quality mounting medium, dapat malapit sa value na to, 1.518. Okay? So for number 43, no, this is letter A. So 1.518. So number 44, so hydrogen peroxide and potassium periodate So these are mga oxidizing agents and very useful for ripening. So ripening, no? So mga oxidizing agents yan. No? So useful for the artificial type of ripening. So saan ba involved ang ripening? So that's useful for hematoxylin. So prior to use, bago gamitin, no, we have to ripen the hematoxylin for us to obtain the active component. So ang active component na makukuha natin after ripening is yung hematine, yung hematine. So number 44, this is letter C. 45, how do we prepare our working solution of formalin? So pag working solution, yan yung routine solution. So in the laboratory, no, yung ating stock solution or concentrated solution, 40% formalin yun. And we cannot use that since masyadong matapang. So we have to dilute that. So by mixing 1 part of the stock solution to 9 parts of distilled water. No, so that's our ratio, 1:9. So if the total volume is 1,000, no, ang best answer natin dyan, if we follow the 1:9 ratio, is letter A. So number 45, that's letter A. Number 46, no? So which of the following will take longer to fix? So definitely larger specimens will have a longer duration, smaller specimens faster, no? Or shorter duration. So sino ang matagal i-fix dito? Yung malaking tissue, which here is myoma. So letter C. So myoma, that's a benign tumor of the uterus. So tumor yan, benign ng tumor ng uterus. So 46, letter C. So 47, if it's en masse removal of organs, so that is your Letoul's technique. So 47, letter D. 48, so what microtome is used for routine paraffin sectioning? So that is your rotary microtome, our commonly used microtome in the lab, rotary. So invented by Minot. Si Minot ang nag-invento niyan. Very excellent for preparing paraffin sections. So also excellent in producing serial sections pag rotary. So 48, letter C. Number 49, which does not contain glacial acetic acid. So that's Hellis. So Hellis, that's also known as your Zenker formol. So it's a mercury fixative, no, that does not contain glacial acetic. So we don't use this for nuclear fixation. So since wala siyang glacial. So number 49, that's letter A. No? Number 50, no? So fat stain that has the greatest affinity to phospholipids among all the fat stains and gives triglycerides a black color. So this is your Sudan Black B. Sudan Black B, these are examples of lysochromes or yung tinatawag natin oil-soluble dyes. Okay, mga lysochromes or oil-soluble dyes. No? So these are not real dyes. No? Itong mga oil-soluble dyes or lysochromes. Since wala silang oxochrome. So these are very useful for fats. So 50, letter A. 51, the following are mounting media except poly-L-lysine. Si poly-L-lysine, so that is a adhesive, a general all-purpose adhesive. So it's an all-purpose adhesive. Very useful yan for immunohistochem. So it's a general all-purpose section adhesive for, we can use it for immunohistochem, no? And ang advantage yan, walang background staining. So number 51, that's letter D. Number 52, no? So this knife is characterized as having both sides concave and very recommended for paraffin section. So this is your biconcave knife. So 52, letter B. So yung biconcave knife, yan din yung longest. mahaba siya, 120 millimeters. So 52, this is letter B. Number 50, okay, number 53, so that's related to 52, no, the biconcave knife. So that is letter B, 120 millimeters in length. Okay? Yung 25 millimeters, that's your plain concave. Okay, plain wedge, yung 100. So 53, this is letter B. 54, so most waxes used for histology or histologic techniques melt at approximately 56 degrees. Of course, we are talking about your paraffin, which is the best medium for embedding, and it approximately melts at 56 degrees Celsius. So 54, this is letter D. Number 55, so what is the major advantage of the Autotech? So the automatic tissue processor, so it comes in different names, yung Autotechnico, no? So this is a machine, okay, that is able to fix, dehydrate, clear, and infiltrate the tissue. And the major advantage of this apparatus is there's constant agitation, no? Ang agitation yan, so the tissue basket that has the tissues would be agitated in a vertical manner, up, down, up, down. So that would be the major advantage. Aside from that, no, it's also a programmable apparatus. So number 55, letter C. 56, so the most commonly used decalcifying agent imparts this color. So that's your nitric acid, no? So yung pinaka-common natin, and it imparts a yellow color. 56, letter C. So especially pag na-over decalcify, no, naninilaw yan. So 56, letter C. So 57, cells become primitive and less differentiated. So this change that happens is what we call as your anaplasia. The cells become more primitive looking and less differentiated. And ang problem pag may anaplasia na, irreversible na yan. So we usually encounter anaplastic cells in malignant tumors. Pag naman hypertrophy, increase in size. Neoplasia, that's the tumors. Hyperplasia, increase in the number. Okay, but if it becomes more primitive, that's anaplasia. 57, letter C. 58, no, thymol crystals are added to Mayer's egg albumin to prevent growth of molds. So Mayer's egg albumin, adhesive to. It's the commonly used adhesive. So we use this, no, for tissue sections, no, yung ating thymol, no, thymol crystals, no, 58, letter A, to prevent the growth of molds. So your Mayer's egg albumin would also contain yung egg whites, which is the actual adhesive, and glycerol. May glycerol din yan to prevent the drying. Okay, so 58, letter A. Number 59. So for number 59, Lendrams and Moliflex, these are solutions for for hard tissues. So pag may hard tissues, kailangan ng tissue softener. So the tissue softener would be useful, no, for hard tissues. Okay, and you do this during dehydration. So number 59, letter C. So number 60. So which microtome should you recommend if the pathologist requires serial sections? So if you're after excellent serial sections, it's also the routine microtome. No, that's your rotary microtome. So number 60, that's letter C. Number 61, which of the following components of the PAP stain has no function and can be optionally removed? So, so PAP stain, that's for your exfoliative cytology. So, this is the Bismarck brown. Pwedeng tanggalin yung Bismarck brown. Bismarck brown, this is a optional component of the EA50. So, pwedeng tanggalin. So, EA50, that is the counter stain or cytoplasmic stain for the immature cells. Okay? So ang pwedeng tanggalin doon is the Bismarck brown. Okay? So, remember, no, yung ating pap stain, meron yung nuclear stain, Harris, meron tayong counter stain, no, for the immature cells, that's the EA50, and then OG6 for the mature cells, cytoplasm. So, Bismarck brown component yan ng EA50, pwedeng tanggalin. It's an option. 61, letter C. 62, so which is a rapid clearing agent, no? So there is less distortion, no? But it's a bit carcinogenic. It may also cause aplastic anemia. So aplastic anemia, so that is no benzene. So 62, letter B. Chloroform, slow acting naman yan. For brain lymph nodes. 62, letter B. 63, which is a universal solvent, so which is able to clear and dehydrate at the same time. So this is all of the above. So 63, letter D. 64, no, exudates. So exudates, these are fluids, no, or substances that are rich in cells, maraming proteins, mataas ang specific gravity. So in most cases, if there is the presence of exudates, there is an ongoing inflammatory process. So that's letter C. 65, no? So clearing solutions used in tissue processing to make the tissue miscible or humahalo with paraffin include all of the following except, so which here is not a clearing agent. So that's letter A, absolute alcohol. Absolute alcohol, we can use that for dehydration. So we may also use that for fixation. Since alcohols have two functions, it's a dehydrating agent and a fixative. So 65, no, that's letter A. So absolute alcohol, that's not a cleaning agent. 66, so the basic dye recommended for the granules and vacuoles of phagocytic cells. So this is your neutral red. Neutral red, so that's also considered as the best vital dye. So that's also the best vital dye, si neutral red. So very useful for cell granules, cytoplasmic structures also. 66, letter D. So Congo red, other choices, Congo red, that's for amyloid. Pang amyloid yan. No? Acridine red, that can be used as a fluorescent stain. Janus green, that's for the mitochondria. So 66, letter D. 67, so the results of the laboratory examinations shall be signed properly by letter D, both the pathologist and the medical technologist. So for 67, letter D. Okay, number 68, no, which of the following is the best fixative for exfoliative cytology but quite dangerous? No? So that's ether alcohol. No? Although it's the best, it's not anymore routinely used because it's quite dangerous. No? So that's ether alcohol. Or we also call this as the Papa Nicolaus fixative. Okay. So number 68, that's letter A. Number 69. So in most reticulin staining fibers, staining techniques, the core of the reticulin fiber is, no? So reticulin fibers, these are the reticular, yung reticular fibers. No? So these are fibers that are delicate, no? Anastomosing. Pag sinabing anastomosing, nagbabranch. These are branching fibers that are able to form a meshwork. So ginagamit to for supporting mga lymphoid organs. And another property ng mga reticular fibers is that they are silver-loving or argyrophilic fibers. So we usually employ silver stains for these types of fibers. And pag silver, ang color nun, black. Letter B. Number 17, what imparts a blue color to the nucleus after decolorization? So this is the use of the bluing agent such as ammonia water. Letter C. Acid alcohol, that's a decolorizer. 70, letter C. 71, mucins. No, mucins, these are carbohydrates. So these are also known as your acid mucins or acid mucopolysaccharides. And mga acid mucopolysaccharides or mucins can be demonstrated using Alcian blue. So 71, letter A. No? So Congo red, that's for amyloid. No? Fuelgen technique that can be useful for the nuclear DNA. So 71, letter A. 72, all are permanent mounting media except water. So water can be used as a mounting medium pero hindi siya permanent. No? Ito rin yung sinasabing cheapest mounting medium. No? So the other choices, per mount, Canada balsam, and ukit, mga resinous mounting medium to. So for long-term storage, permanent storage. So 72, letter A. 73, which of the following is not a clearing solution? So that is absolute alcohol. Absolute alcohol is for dehydration. 73, letter D. 74, what is a mortal sin in tissue processing? Of course, mislabeling. Just like in the profession, no? Okay, so mislabeling or walang label. 74, letter D. Sudan 3, 75. Sudan 3, that's your oil-soluble dye. It's a stain for fats. So that's letter A. Sudan 3. So usually, that's for the CNS tissues. Yung mga fat tissues sa CNS, we can use your Sudan 3. 76. Which cytological picture is conclusive for malignancy? So this is for the class system. So in the reporting for PAPS, no, pap smear, meron tayo ng class and Bethesda system. Yung current system is Bethesda. Yung dating system was class system based on the presence of malignant cells. No? So yung class system medyo obsolete na yan. It's not anymore done. No? So, but if ever, no, you'll encounter the class system of reporting PAPS, no? That's from class 1 to class 5. Class 1 to class 5 yan. And kung ang interpretation or description is already conclusive for malignancy, that is class 5. Okay? Number 76, letter D. Number 77, one of the following is the component of Ziehl-Neelsen that stains your acid-fast bacilli. So definitely, Ziehl-Neelsen, that's the hot method for acid-fast. So sa acid-fast, we are after the mycolic acids present in your mycobacterium. So mycolic acids are known for being very difficult to stain, but once you stain it, it's hard to decolorize. And the one that stains the acid-fast bacilli, no, that has the mycolic acid, is the primary stain, which is carbol fuchsin. Okay. Methylene blue, yan yung counter stain. 77, letter T. Number 78, one may be able to stain fat tissues by using Sudan. 78, letter D. So trichrome, that can be used for fibers, no? Papaniculaw for cells, harissimatoxin, that's of course the nuclear stain. But for fats, that's your Sudan. 78D. 79, rate of penetration of formalin. So that would be at 1 millimeter per hour. So that's why no, in fixation, hindi pwedeng masyadong makapal yung tissue. So 79, that's letter B. Number 18, cells appear like fried eggs on paps. So fried egg looking cells or sunny side up. Okay, sunny side up looking cells. No? So these are immature cells, no? Na thick ang cytoplasm. So it has also a relatively large nucleus, no? Basophilic cytoplasm. And it's an immature cell of the paps. So this is your parabasal cells. So this is your parabasal, yung ating parabasal cell. Okay, so if they appear as fried egg, you have the parabasal cells. So for number 80. For 81, so blocking agents added to tissues for immunohistochem. So blocking agents are added so to prevent non-specific binding to the other epitopes. So you have to take note, yung ating tissues, meron yung different binding sites for the antigen. So those that are not necessary or not needed for the experiment, for the test, binablock natin yan. So para hindi mag-bind kung saan-saan yung antibody. And we use the blocking agent, albumin. So we use albumin. So to block the epitopes, the other epitopes na hindi kailangan sa reaction. Okay? So si hydrogen peroxide, this is able to inactivate. Ito naman, ginagamit to inactivate endogenous enzymes. So yung mga non-specific enzymes that can also interfere with immunohistochem, you remove that with hydrogen peroxide. Okay? But for blocking, we use albumin. 81, letter C. 82, which is a CD marker for T cells. So the TCR, so that's letter C. 19, 20, usually, and 25, that's usually for the B cells. So 82, letter C. 83, cover slips can remove from broken slides by immersing it in saline. So if there's any broken slide, you have to remove the cover slip. You can immerse it in saline since yung mounting medium, miscible naman yan or humahalo sa saline. 83, letter C. Number 84, which can be used to stain the capsule of Cryptococcus pink. So the capsule of Cryptococcus is made of carbohydrates din. No? Mga mucopolysaccharides din yan. Or mucins. So we can use here your mucicarmide. Letter B. So why not India ink? India ink kasi that's a negative stain. Ang color ng capsule sa India ink, colorless yan. The background is black, but the actual capsule is colorless. Okay, so LAMB, Loeffler's alkaline methylene blue, that's for the metachromatic granules naman to. Metachromatic granules, no, of your Corynebacterium. So 84, letter B. 85, what is the usual dimension of the specimen for light microscopy? That is around 2 by 3 centimeters. So 2 by 3 centimeters. Ang thickness niyan, mga 3 to 5 millimeters thick. So that would be the usual dimension. No? except in edematous lung tissue. Pag edematous lung tissue, no, the thickness is 1 to 2 centimeters. So number 85, that's letter A. 86, no, what is the routine used fixative in preparing cell blocks? So that is letter A, 10% formalin. 86, letter A. 87, who is the assistant in a post-mortem exam? So pag PME, post-mortem exam or autopsy yan or necropsy. So the assistant there is the diner. So that is the diner. The person who performs the autopsy, that's the prosector. Pathologist yon. Yung assistant, ang tawag natin dyan, letter B, diner. Okay, number 88. So what is this weekly staining dye? For Ascaris eggs, we can also use this as a stain for the bacterial spores and counter stain. That's malachite green. 88, letter C. Bismarck brown can be used for diphtheria. Van Gieson for the collagen fibers. Metal green that can be used for DNA. 88, letter C. 89, no? What is a stain for elastic fibers? So also useful for the skin. So that is your Orsin. 89, letter C. Number 19, melanin in the Mason Fontana is stained black. No? So bakit black din to? Since Mason Fontana silver staining technique din yan. So every time that you encounter silver stains, you expect the color to be black. So number 90, that's letter D. Number 91, HNE, hematoxylin and eosin. Usually the technique of staining here is regressive. So pag regressive, may overstaining, so you need a decolorizer. So most staining techniques in our routine histopath lab follow the regressive staining technique, such as in HNE. So there is overstaining, no? And the excess stain are removed by decolorizer. 91, letter B. 92, so what is the correct sequence? No? So before the tissues are embedded, so you have to dehydrate it first using ascending grades of alcohol, followed by clearing using xylene and impregnation using paraffin. That's letter D. So you have to fix, no? Fix, dehydrate, clear, infiltrate before you embed. So 92, that's letter D. 93, what differentiates hyperplasia from hypertrophy? So if it's hyperplasia, that's a cell adaptation ng increase in number of cells. Kaya lumalaki yung organ. May cell division, may mitosis. Hypertrophy, increase in the size of the cell. So meaning, so the cell becomes bigger. So lumalaki lang yung component sa loob but no division happens. So therefore, no, what would differentiate them? Letter B. Stem cell proliferation. Definitely, pag may stem cell proliferation, may mitosis yan, may cell division. So that would differentiate it from hypertrophy. So both are still reversible changes, no? Okay. So number 93, letter B. 94, which is an example of pathologic hyperplasia. So may underlying disease. So the best answer here is letter C. Number 95, which is not characteristic of reversible cell injury. So that's letter C. So pag meron ng mitochondrial rupture, no, may damage na yan sa mga organelles, no, that already becomes irreversible. Okay, so if there's already rupture ng membrane, damage of mitochondria, nuclear degradation, those are all irreversible na. But kung swelling lang, swelling, blebbing, and fatty changes, that's still reversible. So number 95, letter C. And take note, no, kung may mitochondrial rupture na yan, irreversible injury na yan, that leads to death. Okay. 95, letter C. 96, how many copies of the death certificate? It is letter C, 4 copies. Since another copy should be submitted to the government, no, sa PSA. 97, which tissue is most vulnerable to hypoxia? So pag hypoxia, kulang yung oxygen. So few minutes, few seconds to minutes lang, irreversible injury na yan, that's neurons. 98, which of the following best describes coagulative necrosis? No? So pag coagulative necrosis, yan yung may tombstone appearance. So this is usually due to blockage or may ischemia. So the tissue appears okay naman, no? Pero if you would look inside, damage na sa loob and you have already unnucleated cells. Nawala na yung nucleus sa loob. So if you see it under the microscope. So, and macroscopically, no, okay pa yung architecture ng tissue. Pero if you look inside, sira na siya. So the best answer here is letter B. Number 99, failure of apoptosis contributes to autoimmune diseases since there is loss of tolerance, no? So the body cannot already demonstrate kung self or non-self yung antigen. So nawala na nagre-regulate. So 99, letter C, and 100. No? So which of the following CHMI results? No? Cytohormonal maturation index. So if you remember, this is when we assess the proportion of the parabasal, intermediate, and superficial cells. No? So yung parabasal, intermediate, and superficial cells. So this is under, of course, the influence of the hormone estrogen. So kung may shift to the right, most of the cells are superficial. So the best answer is letter A. So this is usually an estrogen effect if it's letter A. Kung naman shift to the left, like letter C, no, mostly parabasal yan. If it's shift to the mid zone, that's so mataas ang progesterone effect naman. Okay, but if it's shift to the right, that's letter A, estrogen effect. Okay, so that would be for 100, letter A. So this would be the last number, no, for this exam, no. Okay, so I hope everything is clear, no. Okay, so thank you.